Bridget Marquise here from Pathways EB5, and I'm with our CEO, Jeff Campion. We're going to answer some questions and discuss some important points about our Four Seasons New Orleans project. So thank you so much, Mr. Campion, for being here. And I know it's a very chaotic time, so I think it would be great if you could walk us through a little bit about our project and some of the potential challenges and strengths that we have to offer to our investors.
Sure. And one of the things that we start out with is amidst this pandemic of coronavirus, obviously people first are worried about their health, which is absolutely the most important issue, and their loved ones. But after that, you transition, if you're an investor in the EB5 project, you transition to, well, what about my project? Is it going to create the jobs? Am I going to get my money back? Will it even go forward? And so one of the things I just want to talk about is our financing. So our capital stack is fully, it's full. There's no issues there. We have $185 million in equity from the developer and his team. There's a loan of over $320 million, $325 million from the Children's Fund. And there's obviously our $25 million that we raised in EB5. That makes the capital stack completed. We don't need any more money with the construction loan and with the equity from the development team. That being said, obviously we want to raise more money, and if we do, then we're going to reduce the amount of the first mortgage from the construction lender. And that's really important because now in these times, we don't even know if a project can even get money from a construction lender. Banks are going to probably begin to be more restrictive in their lending practices, and that's going to create problems with the project. That's not the case here. All the money is committed. All the money is in the project, or is able to be utilized in the project, and the project will be going forward as planned.
Great, that's excellent news. Can you share with us a little bit about what is the estimated completion value for the hotel and the condos?
Sure. So for the hotel, the way we get a value is two different ways. It's a per key value, and so each room is called a key, and there is sufficient data on what Four Seasons hotels sell per key. And then we also look the income and do an analysis on income of what would it be worth based upon income and analysis with that. And when you do that, the two numbers gravitate to about $320 million. And so we anticipate the value of the hotel being $320 million. And the total amount of condo sales that will be we think about $325 million, which will clearly set records in the city of New Orleans. But as you know, there's only one 5-star hotel that also has residences in New Orleans, and that's the Four Seasons.
And can you also share with us what the average price of the condos are and how they're doing up to date with selling, how much they've already sold or are under contract for sale?
Sure. So the average price per square foot is about $1,550, which is by far the most expensive in New Orleans ever. They sold one for over $3 million, and now the average price going forward will be about $1.7 million. That's where it'll start at. It'll start at about $1.7 million for a condominium, and they have over 36% under contract. So that's really good. We're hitting our numbers for our condo sales. And so we feel very encouraged by that. The hotel is progressing at its pace as it ought to, in spite of this coronavirus. And so we feel very good that we've got everything we need in place to protect our investors.
Great. Well, we've talked a lot about financing and how we can pay back the investors, but another really important factor that an EB5 investor needs to consider is the job creation of the project. So can you tell us about the job creation for the Four Seasons New Orleans?
Sure, and that's really super important because when you look at your EB5 components, right, it's do I get my money back and will I get my permanent green card? And so we've already talked about the money part. Now the green card part, that's a little tricky, not necessarily for us, but for other projects, because other projects may rely on operations. So if you are going to invest in a restaurant, if you're going to invest in that has to have operation jobs, if you're going to invest in schools that have to have teachers and administrators, well, if those shut down or close down or they don't hit their numbers, they won't create the jobs. with respect to us, however, we've already created 4,146 jobs. Remember, our jobs are construction expenditure jobs. They're indirect and they're direct construction expenditure jobs that have already been created. Now, we only needed about 1,550 jobs total. And so we've already created more than enough jobs for all of our investors. What I mean is, for the investors that have already invested and the ones that will invest in the future. And so you can't find a project that number one, mitigates your financial risk, and then number two, mitigates your immigration risk. I mean, the immigration risk is almost zero. And the only way you can do that is by creating jobs. And so it's really important for you as an investor, as you begin to figure out where do I want to invest, and how do I make sure I hedge my bet? How do I make sure that in a time of perhaps an economic contraction or a recession, that I'm still going to get my permanent green card? And the only project that can give that to you is ours, because we've already created all the jobs. And that's really powerful, and it's really important. Bridget, it was the same thing with Four Seasons One Dalton, right? It's the same thing. We go in, we make sure that we can keep our promise, which is risk minimized, dreams realized. And so we go in, and it informs all of our decisions, and that's why we're with this project today. It's the safest project on the market.
Well, that's all great things to hear. Thank you so much, Jeff. And if anyone has any questions or you would like more information about our project, please email us at info@pathwayseb5.com. Thank you so much.